Are you somebody who is wondering how to find out about careers and employability? Do you currently not know what kind of options you have available to you? How can you get better careers advice? Hi everybody, I am Soma. Welcome to ST Careers TV. I'm going to be talking about how you, at the moment, can go about getting better careers advice for yourself. So, at the moment, the first thing that I would say to you is, did you know that currently Ofsted have reported that schools aren't actually getting adequate careers advice? If you have a look at the article from the BBC below, you will see highlights of reasons for this. One of the main reasons is that basically what's happening is because of cutbacks to the careers industry, a lot of children or young people are not being seen in schools. And this means sometimes young people who miss out on careers advice aren't given any, and then they end up working in jobs which they're not particularly happy in, or careers that they're not, they never would have picked if they'd spoken to somebody. So, that kind of highlights some of the kind of issues that are currently going around about careers advice. And if you want to get better careers advice, please listen today to some of the tips that I want to give to you. First of all, the first thing I would say is that if you are a young person watching this video, you need to be proactive. By proactive, that means you need to really, really look into ways of seeking out how you can get careers advice. So, if you haven't spoken to anybody already and you happen to be in year 9 or year 11, and both of those years are really, really vital in school, because year 9, at the end of kind of year 9, February time, you should have picked your GCSE options and you should be prepared for year 10. And in year 11, you should be thinking about your post-16 options, which basically means your options after your GCSEs. So if you have a particular career in mind, you need to make sure that you've spoken to somebody. And if you haven't, you need to perhaps visit the National Careers Service. The website is at the bottom. You can contact them by just messaging them on the site and ask them any questions that you have. This service is not just for adults anymore. It's merged for young people and for adults. So don't feel it's just a service that can be used for adults. And basically, you need to really, really ask, what it is and how you can get there. And they actually provide you with an action plan on their website. So if you're not sure about what you want to do, there is a set action plan that you have so that you know where you're going. If you're a graduate who is watching this video, then you still need to be proactive about your employability and careers options. Due to the current economic market, finding a job is more difficult and more competitive. So if you are at university and you have a careers service within your university, as most universities should do, go and speak to somebody. You can also use the National Careers website. But if you have that service in place, they will check your CV for you, they'll go through interview skills with you, you have that service, utilise it. Don't be afraid. It can sometimes seem daunting to go and talk to somebody about these kind of things, but in the long run, it's going to help and benefit you. The other thing I would say is that if you have a plan in place, so planning is the next one I would advise to you if you want to get better advice. If you have a plan in place, you know where you're going. So if you're not sure about how to plan and how to go about this, then talk to a careers advisor. Most careers advisors, if they speak to you and you have a one-to-one careers interview with them, they will provide you with an action plan which will round up exactly what you should be doing. And don't be scared by this. In most cases, a careers interview is kind of, just a summary of where you're at and where you want to go. It doesn't have to be long-term as in, I'm going to be here in 3 years' time. It could even be short-term in how you can get there. So it's, about planning your future. And as I said, if you want to work in a very, very specified role, perhaps you want to be a doctor, perhaps you want to be a dentist, or even a hairdresser, you need to have a particular plan in place so that you do specific qualifications cater to that. And if you don't know the qualifications and you need to talk to somebody, then if you don't have a plan in place, it's going to be very difficult to get there, guys. If you're wanting to find out more about the profession that you're interested in, then I would really advise that you talk to other professionals who work within that field. You may have in your head an idea of what that career is like, but until you talk to somebody, you won't find out more. So if you're interested in becoming an advertising executive, if you know someone who works in advertising, for example, talk to them. If you don't, and you use Twitter, what you should perhaps do is maybe do a little bit of research on Twitter and find out somebody who works within the media industry or the advertising industry. Send them a message, a very brief message if you can, and ask them, or even if they have an email address, send them an email and ask them, ... what can I do? What do you do in your job day to day? What is it like, etc. This shows that, you're actually being really kind of enthusiastic, and you're really thinking about, how the job is going to be like for you. You're being realistic. And, that's one way of finding out a little bit more about where you want to be. So be internet savvy. The other way to get better at careers advice, I would say, is trying the job for yourself in a way. And the only way in which you can try and do that, or even observe or shadow, which basically means shadowing is basically when you watch others do the profession, is if you actually get work experience within that field. So if you have a summer where you're not going on holiday with your family and you are sitting at home, which you shouldn't be doing, try and get an internship or try and get work experience. If you're related in the media industry, which is a very thriving industry, or if you're interested in plumbing or something which is very practical, try and get a placement, try and get work experience within that. And if you don't like it, then you'll know, this isn't for me, I want to do something else. And if you do like it, at least you know what is expected, and you know a little bit more about what it's going to be day to day, and then you can cope with that. I hope you enjoyed those tips. I'd really love to hear from you. Please like this video, and I hope to see you again soon.